All right, y'all, that was quite the task. I've not been out here very long, maybe about 25 minutes or so, and I am sweating to death. I am hot. I am ready to go in, and I decided that I'm going to plant some zinnias, just a packet that I had my husband to pick up from Home Depot. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's the Burpee Cut and Come Again mix. Just going to plant some zinnias in these containers, let them hang out here for the summer. Hopefully keep my pollinators happy so that they don't all go away in the process. And I'm going to just throw a packet of these things in each one of these containers, maybe a little bit more than one packet. And then I'm going in. It is entirely too hot to be out here. I'm a little late getting my zinnias up here, but it's because I didn't really know what I was going to do in these containers for the summer. I was contemplating planting another crop of something, but then I said, why am I doing this? It's too hot. This is the south side of the house. It gets a full south sun, and for a good bit of the day, full west sun. So it's not a whole lot that's going to like this spot in the middle of the summer. So zinnias it is. I am going to throw a little bit of flower tone in here so that I don't really have to worry about feeding these guys. I don't ever really fertilize my zinnias anyway, but I would like these to look good for at least a few weeks when they come up. Now, do I have any flower tone? I should have flower tone. Let's see, every other tone. There's flower tone. Now, I am overly particular about which tone I use in my beds and my containers, and that is only because I often have my kids come out and do some of these little tasks, fertilizing certain things, and I want to make sure that they don't run through all of my fertilizers. So if I'm telling them to fertilize roses, they only grab rose tone. And when it comes time for me to do something else, then I know I have some other fertilizers available to use. My plant tone, I typically manage that myself, which is the one I buy the most of. I'm just going to pull this back a little bit. And I'm seriously going to do this whole pack. I may do a little bit more than a pack. And they will be overcrowded and bunched up. But I don't care. Not using these for cutting or anything else like that. I just want to have something for the pollinators when we get towards the end of summer. These guys are going to take 60 days or so before they're going to bloom. So we're about a pack and a half. That mulch back on top of there. I'm going to go do the one on this side now. This container is a little dry. It does not get hit by the rain, so It's my driest of all of these. And I do not water these every single day. So because of that, they're a little bit on the dry side on the backs. I'm willing to bet that that other container on the end that was on the other side of this pole is going to be just as dry. I'll soak these once I get them done. Our rains are starting to come in. Finally, we are extremely dry. We are having brush fires start, and it's just not good. Every summer we go through this where the rains haven't started coming in yet, and then everything catches on fire. But then the rains come and we get our water back. Our canals fill up. Our alligators are happy. Our deer aren't walking at the base of what used to be canals looking for water. Everything goes back to normal. But until then, we are in that in-between phase where it's still dry, but we are starting to get our rain. This mulch is actually pine shaving animal bedding. You can get it from Tractor Supply, Petco, PetSmart, Pet Supermarket, anywhere that sells pet supplies, really. I like it. It does maintain moisture pretty good. It doesn't dry out very fast. Now, you'll hear a lot of people saying, I don't like it because it blows away when it's windy. It only blows away when it's windy if the bedding is bone dry. I don't water this every day, and it still maintains its moisture very, very well. Now, I would assume that if you're in a dry area, your pine shavings would dry out a little bit faster and be more of an issue. We are extremely humid here year-round. So I don't have that problem. I mean, even as I pick these up, these are all nice and moist. We did get some rain yesterday afternoon, I guess early evening, about 5:30, 6 o'clock. And I mean, they're still wet. But if you look at this one, which was actually tucked in against the column on the back side, these are dry and they're not really going anywhere. I don't know. I guess it's just a thing you have to try and see if it works for you. If it doesn't, then you have to find something else. But I like it. I don't like breathing in flower tone fumes. This dust can't be good for you. Let's do a pack and a half in these last two. I'm going to leave these up. I had these up for my beans, but zinnias tend to get a little bit floppy, especially once they get wet after they flower. So I'm going to leave these up to kind of help keep them from laying down onto the pavers. This variety is supposed to only get to 24 inches in height. I don't know how true that is. I find that with zinnias, it's kind of a hit or miss type situation. I've had some zinnias that said they were only going to get to about 8 inches, and the things completely surpassed a foot. So I just take it with a grain of salt. I'll just prepare for the flowers being taller than what the packet says. Do about half a pack here, a little bit more than half a pack. Yeah, well, they all fell in one spot, so we'll be a little heavy in one area and thin in the other, so it is what it is. This one, this goes here. Actually, no, I'll just keep them the way they are. I'll water it. Flies are all over me, which means it's time to go in. Let's get this one done and water these really quick. See how they fly when they're dry? That's what they do. I mean, these are really, really dry. The soil in this one is even really dry. But I mean, they're not, there's a pretty nice little bit of wind out here. A couple miles an hour wind. And they're still not going down the street. Break this up a little bit. I'm going to let some of these get mixed in because maybe they'll hold some moisture inside this container when it's not getting wet. A little bit of flower tone, and we'll toss in some seeds. Now, usually when I'm doing zinnias, I just throw them and go about my business. Just throw them out on the ground. I have not done zinnias in a container before. I hope this works. I have so many weeds out here that I need to pull. But y'all, it's just too hot. These weeds are going to have to stay out here for a little bit longer. Because I just can't do it right now. I'm just glad to be getting some rain because my plants really need it. All right, let's water these and call it a day. That is all I have for today, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you soon. Bye.